What's up, everybody? Happy Father's Day and happy championship week day. I know a lot of you busy taking time out of your schedule watching the UFL championship just to be here with us. I mean, it's not quite Super Bowl Sunday, but it's like the next best thing, right?
Yeah, I wonder how many people on the stream even knew it was UFL Championship. I had no idea. Was it really the UFL Championship today? Who won?
It's still going on right now. I got to represent the San Antonio Brahmas,
Oh,
who look like they are definitely not going to win. It's 22 to nothing last time I checked. But
oh,
hey, in the UFL, anything goes. Fourth quarter comebacks are a thing. But anyways, I won't be watching the game. I'll be watching myself draft another Best Ball Mania team with you guys. Chris and I are going to get in there and try to get in the same draft, and you guys can jump in there with us as well. So let's do it. Now, of course, I should remind you, Underdog got a whole bunch of contests there. I mean, if you're a really big roller, you can go with the Mastiff or the Big Dog, or you can just go for the Chihuahua. Number two, they've already finished one. The Poodles already closed. We did that last week, I think.
yep.
Uh, Look, there's a lot. So just pick your poison, decide how big you want to roll, which one you want to go with. I actually like it's pretty funny. They have a new one, the Dalmatian, which is entry fee of 101. Uh,
Oh, very
yeah,
clever. Very
yeah.
clever.
We're not quite that big. We're going in between. Best Ball Mania. Look, that's the big tournament with the big prize. We're gonna take it down. Chris, you're how far into maxing out there? What's your what's your
Uh,
completion?
very far behind.
Oh, okay. Like 2% loaded or what?
I think I'm above. Maybe well, yeah, 5% maybe.
All right.
Not good. Not good.
Not good. But you'll get you got plenty of time. Best Ball Mania is still plenty of spots open. So we're gonna do Best Ball Mania. I know Clayton sent the Chihuahua. It's look, $25. That's not too much, is it? Okay.
Well, I mean, it depends who you are. Yes.
All right, we're jumping in. It's been a while. We're going to show you how to take down the big tournament. So we're going to enter. If y'all want to enter with us, let's do it. Come on, Clayton. I know you got the funds. You can do this. 3, 2, 1, enter.
All right, I'm in one, and there's a lot of spots.
A lot of spots. 8 people left to fill. 7 now. I'm sure one of y'all jumped in. Let's get this thing filled with endgame viewers again. I think one of these last leagues was like 9 out of 12 or just us.
Yeah.
All right. What's up to Anthony? Just jumped over from the baseball stream straight over here. All right. I actually need to jump in some more because all the slow drafts I've been doing, I'm starting to get to the end. I need to get in more. I have like one like a share in each. I don't know if that's the best idea. I want to try to enter each one. So I have like one poodle, one marathon, one or two. I've done a couple of the Superflex, the puppy Superflex, one pug Superflex, a couple of pugs. Yeah, I've done like a little bit of everything. But I don't know. Is it probably better just to focus on one contest and just go all in on it?
I think so, because you can get. Because the problem with only doing like if you just do like one puppy, that's it. You get one shot. You got one team, and you got to hope that you somehow drafted the winner.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can draft 150 teams or 100 teams or even 20 teams, if you can't do that many teams, you can get exposure to more players. You don't have to worry about like one injury wiping out your entire tournament.
True. And it's easier to tell as far as like differentiation and like your exposure. It's better to tell if it's within the same contest, right? Because then you know who you have, don't have. So
exactly.
All right. And I think it makes sense to do it with the big one. These small ones, like the puppy, the chihuahua, they fill so quickly. It's like there's almost no way to max them out unless you just sit there opening weekend and just do live after live, which don't have that kind of time.
Exactly. All right. So Anthony asking if it's underdog or just endgame. This is an underdog draft. And Bones saying what tourney we're doing. We're doing the Best Ball Mania tonight.
Yeah.
Best Ball Mania.
Best Ball Mania. This is just a public tournament. We jumped in together. You guys can jump in at the same time, but this is not a private draft. No, this is the big tournament.
Yep. And I got the 3. You got the 9.
And
like
Miguel would jump in here. He's always with us, but he says he's in Puerto Rico. Man, I'm slightly jealous there.
Puerto Rico, nice.
Very nice, I guess.
Ooh. CMC at the 3? Ah, not quite.
Not quite. All right. I know you're probably going Tyreek Hill here.
I am. I cannot tell you. Okay, there we go. I don't know if it's just my computer or what, but man. Underdog, if I could make one change to Underdog, it would be a button where I could just hit draft without having to like expand the player. Like just a draft button.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Even if you queue them up, right, you still have to click on them before you can draft. I mean, I know that's like a fail safe to make sure you don't accidentally draft somebody, but it could cost
but then you accidentally time out. So I mean, it's like
yeah. It's like a fail safe, but yeah, it still could work against you. That's why it's always good to have your queue fields. That way, at least if you do timeout, it gets you whoever you had.
True.
All right, I'm going Puka here. Yeah, Robbie, look, I do hear that. I mean, there's not that many. He's talking about the single entry tournaments. That way, you're not going up against other people who are doing max entries, because it's true. Then there's a lot of people who have a lot more, I guess, invested or just time on their hands or whatever. I mean, they can figure out the algorithms. They can, they can work all this stuff out on spreadsheets as far as exposure rates and all this stuff. You're swimming with the sharks, basically. So I understand that. But
yeah, this totally get that as well, especially if you're not going to do a lot of drafts. If you're like, hey, I can only, I only have time, or I can only afford to do a handful of drafts or 10 drafts, then yes, totally makes sense to do those single entry ones for sure. But I think if you do like a tournament like Best Ball Mania and you only do a few entries, not saying you can't win. I do remember, I think somebody did win. Maybe it wasn't Best Ball Mania, but it was one of the big tournaments. I think like maybe a couple of years ago, and they didn't do that many. But when you're doing like the big tournaments like this, not saying you have to do 150, but it's definitely a benefit if you can do more and get exposure to more guys. But yeah, certainly if you're like, hey, I can't do 150 Best Ball Manias, which is totally understandable. Yeah, single entry tournaments are the way to go. Puka JT, that's a nice start. It's a nice start.
Yeah, I find myself with a lot of JT in round 2, and I'm not ever going to complain about that because, at this point, like if Harrison was there, I might have gone Harrison because I don't get him too much. But yeah, once those guys are gone and, now is the questionable range of do you really value this receiver early in round 2? I'll just give me the workhorse running back, right?
For sure. Like JT, it would not surprise me if, usually we see Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round. So we saw like 4 wide receivers, right? 2 wide receivers to end the first round and then 1 and then 2 to start the second round. So usually we see Jahmyr Gibbs late first. It wouldn't surprise me if, as we get closer to the season, we don't see, I'm going to go Evans here, I think. I don't have a whole lot of Evans. It wouldn't surprise me if we don't see JT, move into the first round by the time season's getting closer.
Yeah, I don't think so. Again, unless you're talking about a standard league or, some casual leagues where running backs just dominate the first round. For the most part, your competitive leagues like this, I don't know. I don't think people still see JT as a consensus first rounder.
So Jeff coming in clutch saying second place of BBM 3 was just a single entry. And first place of the regular season BBM 4 was on 4 entries. So it can be done. Certainly can be done.
Well, I mean, yeah, I really don't think you need to max or come close to maxing just to get a chance to win. You just have to hit on the right players at the right the right spots. And I know a lot of people talk about the values, and you have to go under ADP if you're reaching. You won't look if you hit on, let's say for last year. I honestly don't know who exactly was rostered on the winning teams, whatever. But
I'm
let's
gonna go
say
with
you
Puka
got
Nakua, Kyron Williams.
yeah. I was gonna say if you had Puka, Kyron, or Achan like with your last picks, that's it. That's what it is. Honestly, I feel like the way you start is pretty not insignificant, but far less significant than hitting the right sleeper at the right value. That's what it's all about. That's
Probably
it.
a Dak CD stack. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a Dak CD stack.
Yeah, unless you hit on. I mean, if there's a guy who has a historic season, yeah, like a couple of years ago, you got Cooper Cup. You know what I mean? That carried you, or a few years
Yeah,
ago.
but you remember that year Cooper Cup was like 4th rounder, 5th
Yeah,
rounder.
exactly. So again, I'm not saying it's just about the last rounds, but yeah, you don't need to have 100 entries to win a contest like this. Speaking of Kyron, I feel like he's dropped pretty significantly. 28. Man,
Yeah, still on the board here. Wow.
but do I like him better than Derrick Henry? Yeah. You know what?
Is that Kyron's ADP just because of Blake Corum? Like, we've gone from like early 2nd round Kyron to late 3rd round Kyron just because of Blake Corum?
That might have something to do with it. This is okay. Let's just say this is pretty sharp room so far. Those Texans receivers still sticking around. Now, if Tank falls to me, I probably need to take him. I've gone 2 RB here. I'm going to go receiver. Man, did Kelsey at 38? That feels early.
I mean, but then you look and you see like, or at least I look and I see like Trey McBride is still on the board. Dalton Kincaid. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm going to be wrong about Kelsey. I just feel like we've seen the best of Travis Kelsey. I'm not saying Travis Kelsey is going to just be an outright bust. I don't think he's going to be an outright bust, but the days of Travis Kelsey being that like difference-making tight end, I think are over. I think he's now just going to be like a good tight end, and not just because of the age, but because of how the Chiefs use him, and especially now that they have other weapons with Hollywood, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice for however many games he plays. I think we're just going to see less Travis Kelsey on the field and usage-wise.
Yep. I think so too. Look, people
wow,
are
you went
gonna
with Jalen Hurts there, huh?
Yeah, I know there's no stack as of right now, but I'm telling you, I am not feeling T. Higgins at this ADP, and I have a lot of Pickens already. Pickens is fine, but I don't know. Give me the stud quarterback. I'm fine with the receivers that'll fall to me the next round. I'll probably wait on tight end since I didn't get one here because I feel like it was too early for these guys, unless a good one falls to me next round. But I'll just wait and I'll stack Goddard with him, get a couple of discount tight ends.
All right, this will be interesting for me. Okay, there goes T. I was going to take him there if he fell to me. Man, I don't really love Etienne. I feel like Etienne is so overvalued. I'm going to go McBride here.
Yeah, you got him basically where he should be going.
I mean, Etienne was the value on the board, which I usually just, especially when I'm not worried about my exposure yet because I haven't done enough drafts and still early. I usually just go with the best values there. Maybe I should have just gone Etienne. But I had it in my head like I wanted to try a 0 RB draft today.
Yeah, but you got to just take the value where it falls. This is Jeff, obviously pretty sharp best ball drafter. It's all about balance in the early rounds. He's like, make your takes in the later rounds. Yeah, you don't need to take on great risk in these early rounds. You're worried about Etienne and his risk. I'm worried about T. Higgins at his ADP, the risk there. That's why I'm just moving on to, I feel like, a pretty safer pick.
All right.
What's up, Mary Jo? How you doing?
Well, see, now I almost feel like I have to go running back. I don't really love Keenan here. I don't love Jaden Reed here. All right, I'll just go Jacobs there.
Borodor also is in the house. What's up?
What's up, Borodor?
Someone who,
I don't know. Looking at it now, I mean, it's obviously easy to look back, but with Andrews and Kincaid still on the board, maybe I would have been better off going Etienne and then one of those tight ends.
well, that's kind of how I feel. Remember I said that last week, I think in a draft, I don't remember which, I think I took McBride, right? It was around 4. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And then Kincaid was there for me in round 5. I was like, oh, I should have waited. We'll see. I think he might fall to me here unless this guy takes him.
Yeah, maybe could have gone Richardson there too and gotten the stack with Pittman. That might not have been a bad idea.
You know what I have done now twice, which I'm not saying I'm about to do, although I'm on the clock, is I find myself going a little bit more robust RB. In fact, I did a hyper fragile draft the other day. See how it turns out, because I feel like the running back value now is better than the receiver value early. It's like, do I take Keenan here or do I take James Cook?
Yeah, I did not love Keenan in that spot.
I'm going Cook. I'm just going to do it.
Wow. 1 wide receiver through 6 rounds.
We'll see how that goes. I like, maybe I'm outsmarting myself, but again, just trying to take the value where it falls. We'll see who falls to me here. Okay, so I definitely, these two guys, this one has 4 receivers. This one has 3 receivers. I'm eyeing Godwin here. Okay, come on.
Don't take this draft feel. I mean, look, we're only drafting once a week these days, and we haven't done a BBM in like, I think, a few weeks because we've been doing some of the other ones when we stream, like some of the smaller ones that they've been doing. But it really feels like running back ADP has plummeted. Like, I don't remember like Etienne in the 4th, Jacobs in the 4th, Rashad White in the 5th, 6th. Sorry, yes. I'm sorry, Etienne and Jacobs in the 5th. I mean, like, yeah, it feels like running back ADP is really like plummeted.
Yeah, I know, and this is exactly, again, Jeff. I agree. Some of these receivers going too soon, which I think them getting pushed up means a lot of these running backs are now looking like much better values. This is why I feel like, again, the past week or two, I see myself getting running backs earlier. And I will say too, Underdog, like all these tournaments, it's half PPR. So I'm okay giving a little bit more weight to some of these running backs early. And that means I don't have to take as many chances on these, whatever you want to call it. I don't even want to say risky, but potentially worthless running backs at the end of the draft. Like, oh, I need a 5th and 6th running back. Let's see, who's the 3rd string running back for the Giants that was just hyped up this week? Oh yeah, like you know what I mean. I don't have to worry about it. I can take guys who actually can give me some good weeks at wide receiver, even if it's only a couple. That still has value in best ball. You know, if a guy doesn't even see the field at running back, he doesn't have value.
All right. I don't usually draft a QB when I don't have any of his pass catchers, but I can't not take CJ Stroud here. This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
This is ridiculous.
yeah, that was surprising. He fell 11 past ADP. That's surprising. He'd been drafted earlier than usual, but
I mean, I almost never take a QB when I don't have. Maybe I'll try to get like Dalton Schultz or something for the.
that's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. I was like, I guess I'll get Dallas Goddard. I don't even know who the wide receiver 3 is for Philadelphia these days, honestly.
But I can't pass on CJ Stroud there. That's just too good of value. All right. Well, if you saw my video today, especially in this format, I'm going to gamble on Christian Watson.
Yeah, I figured you might. Okay. Yeah, and if you somebody earlier had said it feels like you're headed towards a McBride Murray stack, but I mean when you got Stroud where you got him, I mean you can't pass that up.
No, I mean that's his ADP is 59 and I got him at 70, like, which I don't even understand. Like what are the guys, what are the people in this draft like ZP? Got Stephon Diggs. Like, why didn't he take CJ Stroud? Who's got Nico?
Yeah, right.
Or Tank? Or what about Jim W? He's got Tank and he passed on Stroud for Kittle.
Hey, who knows?
Actually, he passed on Stroud twice with Ridley and Kittle. Huh. Well. Okay, there you go. Jeff. So Paris Campbell.
I refuse. Okay. Man. I think I'm good at running back, even though there's seems like
you're good at running back.
The running back value is still really good here. Maybe next round. All right, I'm gonna take a guy. I guess I'm in on. Let's just go, Jameson Williams.
Which is why I don't mind in these drafts going so wide receiver heavy early, because when we get to these rounds right here, I feel like there are a ton of running backs that I like.
Yeah,
and you can get, I like anchor RB. Because you get to this point here and you can get like a couple running backs that you feel pretty good about as your RB2, RB3, or even your RB1, RB2 if you go 0 RB.
Yeah, I think a lot of these running backs right now that are still on the board, you could consider an RB2. Aaron Jones, Zamir White, Ramondre just got taken, Swift, Brooks. I mean, yeah, there are definitely choices. And after we get, well, I think we already are there. This wide receiver now is just like, they feel like all like dart throws.
Yeah, I don't like getting to this range needing wide receiver.
Right.
So, but maybe that will be the winning strategy this year. All those teams who loaded up on the running back value early.
Well,
like you.
I'm honestly about to go running back again because I'm staring at either Cortland Sutton or one of these running backs.
Might as well.
I'm just doing it again. This is what I've committed to. Now, I don't feel like with this running back room as good as it is right now, I don't know if I could just stop here and say I'm going hyper fragile. I got JT, Derrick Henry, James Cook, Zamir White. I mean,
I would probably
one,
stop. Maybe one more running back if it was me. Maybe
one
more.
more, right? And one more
Maybe.
because especially the first two, JT and Henry, both have the same bye week. So maybe one more running back, but I'll probably stop at 5.
Yeah, definitely.
But this is where then here's what I think, because my strategy shapes my strategy. I went QB early, which is another reason my wide receivers are okay, not the best, but I got Jalen Hurts. I'm taking one more quarterback and that's it, right? Because if I need a third quarterback, I'm not winning this thing anyways, because I took Jalen Hurts in round 3. So I got my 5 running backs, my 2 quarterbacks. I'll take 3 tight ends for sure, and then I'm gonna get probably 9 receivers. So I'm going a little more quantity over quality, right? But I get more shots, right? More bullets in the chamber, more darts, whatever. More chances to take Paris Campbell. All right, Swift. That's a good pick there.
Yeah, I think that might be the first time I've gotten Swift in one of these.
I mean, your team is pretty balanced. I think I like you got Stroud late. You got 4 really good receivers. You got McBride, running back. You know, you're getting guys with huge upside. That's funny. Our drafts are turning out pretty differently. All right, so I think my question now, you got Stroud again, very, very good value. You got him though. He's one of the top quarterbacks, right? Top 5 quarterback based on ADP and projections. So when do you take your second quarterback? Do you want a guy that you feel good about, or do you feel like you can wait pretty late?
I definitely feel like I can wait.
So you're right now, you're pick 99. Like Jordan Love's on the board, but I know you don't really love here.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody I would consider though, because I did take Christian Watson, but
right.
I don't feel like it's a need. Like if he was still there next round, I would probably take Jordan Love, but I don't feel like he's a guy like I have to take.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm looking backwards, because my backup quarterback is just going to be somebody who I feel like can get there and have me a few big games, right? With the receivers I took, I got Goff, Stafford, and Mayfield queued up, and then whoever I wind up with, at least I got a stack.
Honestly, that's what I do, because I always forget, and I forgot to do it with Pittman, to be honest. But when I draft a wide receiver, I instantly go queue up his quarterback.
Yep.
So later on in the draft, I'm reminded like, oh, hey, yeah, that's right. I drafted Mike Evans in round 2. Okay, I'll take Baker Mayfield. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I do. Yep. I'm working backwards here. Okay. Well, I don't really love Dobbs or Shakir. I'm just going to start with tight end. Yeah, somebody snatched up that Jordan Love value with the quickness.
Yeah, I mean, a good value there on Jordan Love. Like I said, if he somehow would have made it back to me, which I was not expecting to happen.
Yeah. And Joe Duke saying, if you say what you're going to do, someone's going to snipe you. Not worried about that, because I don't know if anybody else even is in this league that's watching. It might be 1 or 2, but yeah. And on Wednesday, we won't be doing that.
Yes, on Wednesday, we got to be careful.
Even though it's just a mock. So
I know, exactly. It's like, even though it doesn't matter, just for fun.
Okay, now I got the Goddard stack with Hurts. Makes me feel a little better. I don't have to draft Paris Campbell.
There you go. You don't have to draft Paris Campbell now.
Although maybe I should. This is another Jeff full of great ideas here, because then I could name my team a night with Paris. No, sorry, a night in Paris. Woogie Boogie. Swift over Daniels. Saying you should have taken JD there?
Over Swift? It's a running back and a QB. I don't know.
I guess.
I didn't need Daniels. I had CJ Stroud. I didn't need Daniels.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that. You can wait a little longer on your backup QB. Daniels has definitely been moving up the boards, though. I mean, he's already passed Caleb Williams in ADP, but I think he's one of the biggest risers over the last month. What's up, Gabriel? All right, so here we go.
All right. There are 3 running backs I'm pretty much okay with here. I'll go with Mitchell first.
Good pick.
And then hopefully at least one of these running backs makes it back to me. Although, what are we on here? We're on pick. Can I wait?
I feel like I'm gonna have to reach whoever I take at receiver next, but I don't think it's. I mean, we're after what, pick 120. I don't think I have to worry too much about that, even in a BBM. There goes Zeke.
Yeah, well, not one of the guys. Devin Singletary was definitely one of the guys I was eyeing. All right, I do like Spears, but I think I took Spears last draft, so I'm gonna go Gus Bus.
Still a good value.
And then we'll see. I may have gambled. May have taken too big of a risk here. We'll see. We'll see.
Too big a risk on what?
On waiting on a tight end. We'll see if he makes it back to me.
Wait a minute. Oh, are you kidding? Yeah, I was all set to take Dotson. Okay, I'll just, I guess, take the value here.
Yeah. I mean, that's like what? His ADP is 108. You got him at 130. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I really was tempted to take Corum there because I don't get him enough in drafts, but yeah, I got to do what's best for the team. Yeah, there's still some pretty good running back values, I feel, here. Obviously, backups, timeshare, whatever. Guys with huge upside, though, in best ball. But gonna have to wait. All right. Take one of my favorite best ball picks here. Go again, Jermaine Burton.
Yeah, how do we feel about Jermaine Burton now that T. Higgins signed his franchise tender?
No, I mean, I didn't expect T not to keep holding out, but I think Burton still has great value in best ball, especially. Again, Chase tends to get banged up, missed games almost every year. T. Higgins missed a couple games. You never know that situation. I think worst case scenario, he's the number 3 receiver for Joe Burrow. I mean, that right there is pretty good.
That is. Be nice if they put him in that Tyler Boyd slot role.
Yeah, that would be tremendous. We'll see.
I can't tell if this JT McKenzie guy is autoing or not. His clock goes down like every time, but it doesn't always pick the top player. So maybe he has like a Q set. Oh well, no, he picked there, I guess. All right, well, not that I love him, but Dalton Schultz did make it to me for the stack.
Got the stack. See, it's not the most exciting stack with a tight end, but it is a stack nonetheless.
Makes you feel a little bit better about. I mean, not that I would regret taking CJ Stroud when he's that big of a value, but
yeah.
Now I'm going to be thinking about bring back here.
All right, we're round 13? Okay, I see. I don't know. Are you going to be able to pass the quarterback value on Herbert?
Only because I already have CJ Stroud, and
I mean, you got to take a backup at some point.
I know he's not that far. I mean, it's not like, I mean, he's pretty good value, I guess. Nah, I'm going to go with another running back here.
Nice. I'm talking about contract drama. I guess there's a thing with Kamara now. He's wanting to maybe hold out, or he wants a new deal, and I don't know. What is this? Anything that we should even think about?
I don't know. I don't really think about Alvin Kamara these days, but yeah, I mean, that'd be great. I would love to see. You know what? I hope Alvin Kamara holds out. Give Kendra Miller a starting job. Kendra Miller is actually a really good player, and if Alvin Kamara does hold out and Kendra Miller gets that starting job, they might not even care if Kamara comes back, to be honest. Like, Kamara has not been good. Like, I know people are going to say he was the RB whatever in fantasy last year because he had that 3-game stretch where he had like 10 plus catches in 3 straight games. But see, there it is. There it is. But you look, I mean, okay, but you look at him, you look at Kamara's game logs. So yes, he was the RB6, but you look at Kamara's game logs, like he finished the season 13, 16, 8, and 6. That's how he finished the season. He had that 3-game stretch where he had what? Let's see. He had 13 catches, 7 catches, 12 catches. But then you look at the games where he only had like 3 or 5 catches. He wasn't anything great, and he's still insanely one of the least efficient running backs in the NFL, which is crazy because he used to be one of the most efficient running backs, right? His true yards per carry last year, 3.8, right? 45th in the league. Like, yeah, I don't think the Saints would miss Kamara that much, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Might be better off for them if he holds out or something.
And Jeff was saying, when's the last time a skill player? I'll say the ones I can remember that missed time because of contract. The most recent ones I can think of was Le'Veon Bell. We saw how that turned out for him not well. And then Melvin Gordon. I remember Melvin Gordon missed 4 games of contract. Who else?
Yeah,
we don't see it. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, to actually miss games. Not even those guys who were threatening and making, posturing last year, right? The Saquon and Jacobs, where they wanted to playing a full season. It was fine, but no, it's not that I'm worried about guys legit just missing the season, holding out into the season. The one thing that kind of caught my eye was when they were saying that, what if T. Higgins has to make a business decision? It's like late in the season, he's banged up, and like, guys, I'm not good to go. That I could see that happening. We've seen it happen before with guys who just you're like, how's he still hurt? He like tweaked his ankle and then just missed game after game.
That is true. I'm surprised Saquon didn't like fake an injury last year. I mean, they were just abusing him.
No. My love for Jermaine Burton is really regardless of T. Higgins' contract or whatever. I like Burton.
No, I like Jermaine Burton.
Oh yeah, it's just great landing spot.
All right, I never thought I'd say this about this player, but I actually got my fingers crossed that he makes it to me. Oh, I was going to give Rashad Bateman for the bring back.
So close.
For the Week 17 bring back with CJ Stroud and Dalton Schultz.
Well, plan B.
Plan B is going to have to be get the Baker Evans stack.
Yeah, I pulled the trigger on Stafford last round to pair with Puka, so I wouldn't have to count on Baker because he was my next plan to pair with Godwin.
Yeah. All right. Baker Evans. What does Trey McBride's buy? 11? Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, no, that's right. I got Schultz. I almost forgot. Okay. Don't need tight end. Did I vomit in my mouth? The only reason I was eyeing Rashad Bateman, well, I'll say a couple things about Rashad Bateman. Number one, they played the Texans Week 17, so he was the bring back for CJ Stroud and Dalton Schultz. But number two, they signed Rashad Bateman to an extension. Why? Like, they did not need to sign Rashad Bateman to an extension. They could have easily been like, sorry, dude, show us something. So at least it shows me that they have some confidence in him at some level.
It's true. I don't know, Bateman. I've taken him a couple times. I'll admit. He was one of my favorite receivers out of that draft class. I thought he would be a stud. It's just been disappointing. And I know some people just say, "Oh, he's just been injured." Like, I don't think it's just that, but who knows? I mean, I guess it's too soon to give up on him completely, but
yeah, and look, it's best ball. Just give me a few big games, stay healthy all year, give me a few big games, and then in Week 17 when the Texans and the Ravens play each other and they combine for 70 points, give me like a random 3-touchdown game. That's all I ask.
That's it. Okay. Well, here's my little bring back. I got 2 Rams, so I'm going to get a Cardinal for Week 17. Michael Wilson, looking pretty ripped this preseason.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's funny. Somebody posted a meme. It said Cardinals wide receiver 1 this season, Michael Wilson. Wide receiver 2, Michael Wilson. Wide receiver 3, Michael Wilson. Wide receiver 4, Marvin Harrison Jr.
I mean, you got to give the Cardinals credit. They've gone from Hollywood Brown, who's like my size, Rondell Moore, who's like smaller than me, and Greg Dortch, who I think also might be smaller than me, to Marvin Harrison and Michael Wilson. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Now, the thing with Wilson is they do have one of the better pass catching tight ends. So Wilson realistically not going to get a ton of targets, but still, this is best ball. Just give me a couple of those long touchdowns. Okay, this is the stage where all the players in the board, it feels too early for all of them. So I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, this is where you can really be like, he's my guy.
Yeah, like forget
if
it.
If you're wrong, it's like, oh well. But then if you're right, you're like, see, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you Michael Wilson was going to break out this year.
Okay, so who's my guy here? Do I go with another Ram? No. Going with the league winner at tight end.
Jonnu Smith.
Here you go.
Oh, no.
Hey, McDaniel the other day said, and we know we can always trust everything coaches say in the preseason. McDaniel said, a lot of people look and think that, oh, well, we haven't thrown to the tight end much, and that's just, not going to happen. He goes, but we're going to use the best personnel available. We're going to do what's best, blah, blah, blah. Basically saying without saying, like, look, Jonnu Smith's the league winner this year.
So did Mike McDaniel just throw Mike Gesicki under the bus?
Mike Gesicki, that guy, talk about a combine warrior. Like, that guy, I don't know. I don't care that he's in Cincinnati. I'm not drafting him.
Oh, I just realized Arizona also has Zay Jones. They've really upgraded that wide receiver room. They actually have like a real wide receiver room.
They do. That's why Kyler seems like a great value, though now it's getting pushed up. But
all right, I much prefer DeMarcus Robinson, but I don't think I've gotten any Demario Douglas yet, so I'm going to take Demario Douglas here.
That's solid. It's a solid pick.
It's such a just a uninspiring best ball pick. Demario Douglas is 10 to 12 points per game.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, his ceiling is maybe not huge, but I think he's the number one receiver on that team. Look, there's Javon Baker going. I'll still take Douglas over Baker. Baker's getting more hype because he's a rookie and whatever. But I think Douglas will be, kind of a nice surprise.
I will say I actually kind of like the Patriots pass catchers with Jacoby Brissett. I'm not like all over them. I'm not like, oh, Jacoby Brissett, but he's shown that he can at least, like, remember, look at Terry McLaurin last year when they finally benched Sam Howell and put Jacoby Brissett in. Terry McLaurin all of a sudden was like going off.
Yeah.
Like Jacoby Brissett at least knows how to get the ball to like his good players. If nothing else.
Exactly. He's I mean, I don't know. It can't be worse than last year. It can. And not just because it's not Mac Jones / Bailey Zappi, but like a fresh offense here, right? Different mindset, I think was needed. So I feel a little bit of optimism about the Patriots offense.
I was going to take DeMarcus Robinson last pick, so he made it back to me, so I'll take him this pick, my final wide receiver.
Nice. That's a great value.
All right, JSC wants to know who are 3 wide receivers that are going to eat like champions in the form of targets. So I think Deontay Johnson is probably our number 1 pick. I think I think
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson could be top 10, maybe even top 5 in targets this year.
Definitely.
Who else is just going to eat in targets?
I'll tell you.
Outside of, I'm assuming outside of the obvious guys.
Yeah, let me get this pick in as soon as, and then I'll tell you.
Who else is going to have a ton of time? I could see. Even though I did take Mike Evans in this draft, it would not surprise me if Chris Godwin had more targets than Mike Evans this year.
Well, that's an interesting look. One guy I see pushed up. In fact, he's been drafted earlier in this and most of the drafts I've done lately. He's a guy who just got taken, Jalen McMillan for Tampa. He's getting a lot of hype. So because of that, getting pushed up, it's going to be the number 3 receiver for Tampa. I mean, whatever that's worth. But you got to remember, this is going to be a new system, right? Got a new OC there. And they're moving Godwin around. They're going to put him in the slot more, supposedly. And so, yeah, which makes me, to some extent, I know I'm in more on Godwin because he's got to see some positive regression for touchdowns, but also I think he'll have a better season than last year. They won't just lock in on Mike Evans anymore. But then that makes me think, is Mike Evans going to have the same season he did last year? You know what I mean?
No, I'm with you on that. I've been thinking about that, even though I did take Evans here, and I talked about it in today's video. If you haven't seen it, like, because we just kind of, from the outside looking in, not really diving into it. It's like, Baker Mayfield's only throwing to Mike Evans, right? He's ignoring Chris Godwin. But Chris Godwin last year had a 23.8% target share with Baker Mayfield. The year before with Brady, he only had a 21.8% target share. He actually got less of a target share the year before. Like, Baker actually targeted him more on a per target basis, a per throw basis, than Brady did. It's just they were asking Godwin to play on the outside and run a lot of vertical routes, and that's not really his strong suit. That's not what he's good at. So we saw Evans, of course. Evans is very good at that. That's his game, right? Put him on the outside, let him body these smaller corners, and just go to work. So if they really do put Godwin back in the slot 50-60% of the time, I think we could see Godwin lead the Bucs in targets. And then, yeah, definitely Terry McLaurin is one I think. I talked about him also on today's video. I think we could see the best season we've ever seen from Terry McLaurin, which seems crazy. You think like, come on. But he really hasn't had a great season yet. He really has not had an elite season because he's been stuck with such bad quarterbacks his whole career.
Exactly. That's it. Sometimes there are guys who just need things to break right in terms of context. So, boo. What are we booing here? Wait, you don't like A.T. Perry?
You wanted Paris Campbell.
Oh, sorry. I can't do it. Cannot do it.
All right. Well, I didn't take Etienne earlier, so I'll take Tank now as my final pick.
All right, there we go. I feel pretty good about this draft.
Yeah, you definitely had an interesting draft, but look, again, with the way the wide receivers are just being pumped up in these drafts and the running backs are falling, maybe we're going to look back and say, hey, the robust running back drafters were the ones that benefited because you're getting these running backs at these crazy values right now.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind that flex spot doesn't have to be a receiver. Again, this is half PPR. If you have a stud running back, that could help carry the way. I think it really depends on hitting on that right receiver late. You know what I mean? Your 4th, 5th, 6th receivers. All right, let's see. This draft is over. Let's see if we can break down the actual teams. Got it up. Okay. So you got CJ Stroud and Baker Mayfield. Pretty good. And then your running back room is Jacobs, Swift. Sorry, make it bigger. Mostert, Gus, Kendrick Miller, Tank Bigsby. It feels pretty solid. I mean, got a ton of weekly upside there, especially if Kendrick carves out any sort of role in Tank. I mean, I'm almost a little surprised, although I get it because he was horrible last year. But I'm still a little surprised St. Bigsby doesn't go a little higher based on the fact they've already said he's going to get more work this year.
Yeah, and especially like the fact that, I mean, who else is there? Like
Yeah.
if Etienne gets hurt, who else is there even there?
Nobody. I don't even know. I don't think there's anybody. So yeah, I think that's a solid running back room. You got Ty Hill, Mike Evans, and Pittman. That's pretty good. You didn't have to pick. You got some good values here. Receiver, Watson, Mitchell Franklin, Demario Douglas, Demarcus Robinson. You happy with that?
Yeah, this might be one of my favorite drafts so far. Because even though I went, I guess, sort of zero RB, I didn't take a running back till round 6, Josh Jacobs. I still felt like my running back room is pretty solid. I love my wide receiver room, lots of upside. I got a good tight end. I obviously got a great QB in CJ Stroud. I like this draft a lot, honestly.
Yeah, and I always look at it this way: is you can get a guy who I consider a wide receiver 2 in Pittman. He's your number 3. A guy like Watson is your number 4. He could be a 3, etc. And you have an elite tight end in McBride, so that's pretty nice. All right, I got Hurts and Stafford, and then the running backs. There's only 5. JT and Henry early, and then I got Cooks. I felt like it was a good value, even though I got him right exactly at ADP. But still, his ADP I feel like was much higher than this a couple of weeks ago. Wasn't he in the 40s?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels like the running back ADP has plummeted, or at least in this draft it did.
Yeah, so I mean, you look at, in fact, exactly. I don't know how that turned out. Every one of my running backs I took exactly at ADP: 16, 16, 33, 33, 57, 57, 88, 88, and then one pick off for Fidel. But I feel like these are all pretty good values after Taylor because, again, I feel like it's slipping compared to some of these receivers who I'm not as high on. So I've done this a lot lately, taken 5 or even, like I said, there's one draft I did 4 running backs. I'm happy with it. Would you be happy with these receivers though? Be honest. Puka, Godwin, Jameson Williams, Khalil Shakir, Jermaine Burton, Michael Wilson, Darius Slayton, A.T. Perry. Is there enough upside on a weekly basis to carry the squad with those running backs?
Well, if Puka is Puka and Godwin does bounce back like we expect, you really only need one of these guys a week. That's the thing, right? Because obviously when you draft this way, you're expecting to flex a running back, which is why I think I might have stopped at 4, but I think 5 is okay because because you can only start at most 3 running backs, right? So you're going to flex one of those running backs. So if Puka does Puka things and Godwin does bounce back and is the guy we saw, prior to his ACL injury and does get more targets like we think, then you really only need one of these guys a week to do anything, really. So yeah, I think the way you attacked it was the right way.
Yeah, it's just if, like I said, if Jermaine Burton winds up being one of the top rookie receivers, that'll do it. If Jameson Williams breaks out, that's what I'm taking a chance on, right? And then I just need Perry to have like a couple of weeks where he scores a touchdown. Slayton to do what he does. And then I got 3 tight ends, so at least I got a stack with Goddard. I mean, I've done this exact type of thing now a couple of times. We'll see how it turns out. But you know what? Next draft, I might go 0 RB or something else because it all depends. This room, I feel like receivers were pushed up early. So, it's like you got to zig when they zag. To me, honestly, I've always thought that's the advantage is you don't just follow the crowd or follow the herd. You got to take advantage of the guy who falls. You've got to do something different from everybody else. Not completely different. You don't do something crazy, but you know what I mean. You can't just fall in line with the rankings.
I agree.
All right. Let's do this again. We'll do this next week. We'll either try Mania or some new contests. Underdog always has new contests. Again, you like the Best Ball Mania, still plenty of chances to get in on it and try to win the big prize and see how you can build your team. Or if you want to do something with a much lower entry fee, you got many chances. You got the Chihuahua. What is it? The Pug, the Puppy. I mean, there's so many contests. I can't even remember them all. And there's always new ones that pop up every week. Or if you want to roll big, there's the Big Dog. There's the Mastiff. Yeah, it's a bigger prize, also a bigger entry. But look, if you know what you're doing, if you do a lot of these, you have a chance to take home some big prizes, so that's pretty nice. But we'll do this again next week, and then on Wednesday we'll do a mock. You guys will all be in it if you manage to jump in on time. Just make sure you hit notifications so you know as soon as we go live, because there's no waiting. We get in there and we do it. So check all that out. And video that Chris just mentioned, put out, check that out. We got multiple videos come out every day, and it's just going to get even busier once July hits, not too far from now. So be prepared. Yep. All right, guys. Appreciate you being on. We'll see you on the next one.